All right, guys. So today's theme is going to be personal and field recruiting at the highest of highest levels. So we're going to talk about building your agency. This is the best time of the year to, and I was just looking at people on this call who are personal recruits. There's a lot of people, I don't know if they're personal recruits or not, but Matt Schwartz, our number 2 producer, literally in the Schneider agency, was a personal recruit of Brad Phillips. Brandy Graham, she's one of our top 5 producers. She was a personal recruit as well. Like there's Brian Millhouse. He's going to really try to be the rookie of the year in the Schneider agency. Definitely going to be in the top 5. He was a personal recruit. And there's a lot more guys that I know. I was a personal recruit. Todd the Bod Styles was a personal recruit. Zach Tolbert, Van Davenport. They were all personal recruits. Brian Glazinski, he was my personal recruit. I mean, there's a lot of people who were in our agencies, top producers who were all personal recruits. And just Travis Hath, Vicky Cannon, Chris Cannon, both personal recruits of Erica Bolin. And we have a lot more. So, but those are just a few people on these calls right now that were all personal and field recruits. So Alice Guthrie was another one. She was in Puerto Rico last week as well, personal recruit. She was actually a field recruit. She was met out in the field a few months ago. So that's the purpose of this call. A lot of our top talent doesn't come just from Indeed and RMS and ZipRecruiter. It comes from people that you know. So if you were to have a barbecue and you could only invite 5 people, who would you invite to that barbecue? So really kind of thinking big. And, right now you're really thinking about the 2023 goals. I'm excited to spend about 3 hours this weekend to get all my goals finalized for 2023. So, we've only got a week and a half left of 2022 until 2023 starts. So right now, you got to be thinking big about your goals for 2023. Like, where do you want to be at this point next year, here in 6 months? Do you want to hit market director like what Erica Bolin just did? She was just a brand new agent this time last year. She had only been here for like a month this time last year. She's already leveled up to market director, and she had no sales experience before this. Well, guess what? That can be you, right? That can be you. Do you want to have a team of 5 people next year? Do you want to have a team of 10 people? The great thing in this business is you can have a team of 30 people between now and this time next year if you're really gun for it. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to do that and how to start small and kind of grow up the career track, and how to actually personal recruit somebody. It's good to have those one-liners, those zingers. That way, when you meet a sharp person, whether it's on your soccer team, your son's soccer team, like their dad or whatever, you're just a sharp guy you're talking to, that quick 1 or 2 liners to say to them to kind of grab their attention to get them engaged. Okay, and to have that little approach sales conversation that you need to have, and what to look for. And it's not always maybe that person that you're going to try and personal recruit. It may be their buddy. It may be their brother who just graduated college who's super sharp, right? So you just never know where they're going to come. It could be at Harris Teeter, right? It could be in the parking lot of Walmart. It really doesn't matter. All sources, all places. You got to have your recruiting goggles on 24/7, because the people who hit market director, like Erica, she wouldn't have hit market director if it wasn't for her personal recruiting. A lot of her top producers are people that she personally found herself. They weren't all just gifted to her from her agency owner. Now, some of those people were, but a lot of those people are people that she sourced herself, right? So let me share my screen. We got an awesome PowerPoint talking about this. Here we go. And this, I actually taught this call. It was probably about 2 years ago on the vision team. I kind of cleaned it up last night. I updated the PowerPoint to more up-to-date information. So let's go ahead and just start this thing. So, and there's going to be a lot of content today, guys. Like, this is a pretty, there's a lot of meat and potatoes on this call. So I would screenshot some of these slides because there's going to be a lot of words on some of these slides with technical content of what to say to certain people. So make sure that you're prepared to take some good notes, maybe screenshot the pages so you can kind of go back to them in your notes section. So creating a field recruiting culture. So number 1, so what a field and personal recruit is. That is anybody that's not a mass source. So if you were recruited from like ZipRecruiter or Indeed or a career fair or RMS, Craigslist, Monster, Career Builder, those are all mass recruits. And some of our top people were mass recruits. Nothing bad about that whatsoever. Okay. We're always going to have, I've got 2 full-time recruiters right now who are calling resumes on Indeed in ZipRecruiter right this second, right? So we're always going to be filling the pipeline and filling the funnel with sharp people from those sources. However, though, field recruiting is another part of the business that we bring on. another version of our sharp people. So I know I was a personal field recruit of Van Davenport, and he was a personal field recruit from Peter Foray. Field recruiting is generated from two main networks: in the field and your personal network. In the field, like what Alice Guthrie was, right? And then personal networks, people that you know. Okay, people that you know, it could be social media, it could be a lot of things. And personal networks could be your friends, it could be your family, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, like just people that you know that are connected to you in some sort of fashion. That's not from ZipRecruiter or Indeed or RMS. And why should you field recruit in the first place? You totally don't have to, not a big deal, but why you should field recruit. These are the main reasons why. Number one, for me personally, I definitely would not be an agency owner if it wasn't for field recruiting. I know for a fact, Erica would not have hit market director if it wasn't for her personal and field recruiting. Number two reason, we don't have enough people doing what we do. Think about all the people like in your territory, like just Google the amount of the population, the amount of people, like if you like work in like, say Gastonia or whatever it is, and just Google how many people live in Gaston County, and then look at how many contacts you've actually had for the year. You've probably seen like 1 out of 1,000 people in that area. You may feel like, oh, I've seen everybody. Definitely not true. You've probably seen 1 out of 1,000 people. We need a lot more people doing what we do. 100% abundance mentality. Okay. In selling, you can make a good living here protecting families. My first year to 2 years, I was, making an awesome income protecting families. However, recruiting, growing an agency can build extreme generational wealth, not just a good living, but long-term wealth for you, your kids, your grandkids, and go generations, right? And why don't you recruit? Selling, once you get good at protecting families, it becomes pretty easy. Once you get that skill set, that raw skill set, just being able to walk in, it could be a cold call, it could be a warm call, it doesn't matter, but you're just super confident in your ability, it can get pretty simple, pretty easy. So don't have the selfish mindset, go ahead and give other people that same opportunity to develop their skills and really kind of building their own little empire for themselves. Okay. It's great whenever you win awards and you get up on stage for the top sales awards, but it's a lot better. It's a lot more, it's more enjoyable whenever you see somebody that you personally recruited into the business earning those awards as well. Okay. And also, this is a huge one. It's free. It doesn't cost a dime. I know Van and I and other, regional directors, we spend a lot of money on mass recruiting. I've got 2 full-time recruiters. I got an onboarder, we pay her salary. That's a lot of investment. That's a lot of overhead. But personal and field recruiting, Van didn't have to pay $1 to recruit me other than the $10 Panera Bread lunch that he took me out to for our final interview. Okay. So, it was a free expense to personally recruit. Erica Boland, she didn't have to pay anything to recruit her fiance, Chris, right? It's free. It's free recruits. Okay. And you got to have your top 3 whys. Okay. Number 1 is I want to have a leading from the front mentality. Okay. Whenever you recruit somebody, you have to lead them. You have to lead from the front. Number 2, for me personally, and these are my personal reasons why, your whys may be different, but I'm very competitive with my fellow agency owners, Van, Travis Wilson, Andy Santos. I want to grow and I want our teams to surpass them at some point. And I know that the only way that we can do that is by recruiting a bigger organization. Okay. And then number 3 is my future family, my wife. I prefer to pay the system now and play later in life instead of playing now and paying later in life. And you can really get ahead in life by building an organization. So think about this. Think about how many contacts you have each day. So just do some math. Think about how many contacts you have so far for the week. If you average 20 contacts a day, and this is something Rob Schmidt taught us, it was like 2 years ago at our agency days in Charlotte. If you average 20 contacts a day for a week, 5 days a week, that's 100 contacts per week, which is 400 per month. That's 400 potential recruiting leads that you have at your disposal, free. So what we're looking for, this is what you're looking for when you're out in the field selling. Number 1 is you're looking for people who are super hard workers, people that are just hustlers, hustler mentality, people that you would want to hang out with outside of work, people who are very good with people, who are easy to build rapport with. They're very engaging. And buyers should always be field recruited if not themselves, it should be somebody that they know as well, because they see the value of what we do. They are a hot prospect, and they're never going to get hotter than they are right now. They are very engaged with what we do, and they love family heritage. So it's a great time to either, introduce the opportunity to them as a prospect, or to ask them if they're not a good prospect. Like if you could just tell by, hanging out with them for the last 30 minutes that they probably wouldn't do well here, you can at least ask them who they may know. So here's a couple quick one-liners that you can say to those prospects. You may want to screenshot this, or you may want to write this down. So, hey, Lisa, do you plan on working here forever, or is this more of a temporary job? The reason why I'm asking is that my company is hiring, and I think you would do really well at this. Would you want to get some more information on what I do? Are you open to other opportunities? That's it. That's how simple the introduction, that's your approach. That's your approach right there. Hey, Lisa, do you plan on working here forever, or is this more of a temporary job? Well, the reason I'm asking is that my company is currently hiring here in Gastonia or here in Monroe, North Carolina, wherever you're working. And I think you would dominate this. Would you want to get some more information on what I do? Are you open to other opportunities? Nodding your head, yes. People don't always remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. Okay, so giving them a compliment, it's going to help them feel good. Also, last little thing, avoid the verbal diarrhea, which is just, sometimes people ask, is this cold calling? Let your leaders answer these type of questions. Hey, these are great questions for my agency owner, Kyle. These are great questions for my market director, CJ Clark, who could answer these for you. But these are awesome questions. Okay. If they are not a sharp prospect, so let's say you protect somebody today, they are not a sharp prospect in the field, like you don't feel like they would do well here. Yes, they bought insurance from us, but you don't feel like they could do outside sales. No big deal. No big deal. We have an abundance mindset. This is what you would say to that kind of person. Who do you know? Hey, John, this may not be a fit for you, but who do you know who's looking for other opportunities? The reason I'm asking, man, is my company, we're hiring here in Gastonia, and we're looking for somebody who's super sharp, driven, who's fun to work with, and who's very good with people. Who do you know who falls in that category? Who do you know who's trying to, double their income? Who do you know who's trying to have more freedom and flexibility? A lot of the times they're going to be like, me, pick me, pick me, pick me. But you just got to open the opportunity to them. Sometimes you'll be like, hey, my sister, she's an accountant right now and she doesn't like it. She works 60 hours a week and she's stuck in her office and she wants to get out of accounting, wherever it may be. It doesn't matter. Or my buddy, he sells loans right now, and the interest rate on loans is so high, it's 7% right now. He hasn't sold loans in 2 months, right? He's looking for another job and he's super sharp. So you just never know, but you're asking to get through that person on other people that they know as well. Okay. So this is a fun little exercise that my sales coach did with me a few years ago, Gina Parker. It's called, who would you bring to the concert? So think of your favorite concert. I know Todd's is NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, whatever he listens to, but whatever your favorite concert is, think of who that is. So if you could have 5 people, or you had Super Bowl tickets, if you could invite 5 people to the Super Bowl, who would that be? And this is even thinking bigger, if you had tickets to the Super Bowl, you could invite anybody, who would you bring? Well, wouldn't you want to bring all your friends? Wouldn't you want to bring all your friends? Why would you, want to discriminate? You would want to bring everybody that you knew if you had unlimited tickets to the Super Bowl. You can start small though. Think of your top 5. Whether they work here or not, it's not a big deal. But you should definitely introduce the opportunity to people that you like and trust. Guys, we have a very electric culture. I know our specific agency for 9 straight years, we've grown 20 to 80% every year for 9 straight years. This year, we're up 72% in sales. That means that the agents that work here, on average, that have been here for a year, that means that their average income per agent is up 72%. Who would not want to be part of a team where they grow their income 72% from one year to the next? I'm sure all your friends would want to grow their income 72% year over year over year, right? And last year, we grew 68%. So you have 2 straight years, 1 year 68%, 1 year 72. Who would not want to be part of that culture? That's a very electric, exciting culture to be a part of. I guarantee you, their culture at their current job is not like that. I guarantee they haven't grown their income 68, 72% 2 straight years, right? So don't feel ashamed to share this opportunity with them. It's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. Okay. So you really got to think about who's a hard worker, who out of all your friends or family makes the most money, who's the most successful that you know. Because successful people at prior careers are going to do very well here. It really doesn't matter how much money they're currently making. It matters if they're really good at what they do. I like to recruit people that are very excited about what they do, not people that hate their job, because people that hate their job, if they hate their job and they come here, they may not like this either. This is probably harder than what they're currently doing. So they're probably going to hate this too. But people that love their job, even if they're making 30 or 40,000 or whatever it may be, people that love their job, they're really good at it. Those are the people that we definitely want to onboard into our agency. Those are the people. So here's a quick one-liner for those kind of people. Hey, John, I thought of you because you've always been really good at what you do, man. Like, I think you would be really successful here too. My company's currently hiring in, Salisbury. Would you be open to taking a look at what I do? That's what you say if that's your buddy. So you may want to screenshot. Now we're going to be at Christmas time here in a couple of weeks. You're going to be hanging out with some friends and family over the holidays. This could be your uncle. Hey, Uncle Steve, I thought of you because, you've always been really good at what you do, man, working at Duke Energy. I thought of you. I think that you may actually be successful, here, work with me as well. My company's currently hiring in Arden, North Carolina, where you live. Would you be open to taking a look at what I do? Right? It's going to be a yes or no. And here's another approach. If you want to write this down too, this is if you may not want to recruit them personally, but maybe people that they may know. Hey, Uncle John, hey, man, due to COVID or whatever, due to COVID or the recession, there's a lot of people out there looking for other jobs. My company, we're expanding and I'm actually hiring right now. Who do you know, Uncle John, who has good hustle and who has a good work ethic? Who do you know who has hustle and a good work ethic? Who do you know who wants to possibly double their income? And sometimes they may be like, well, Kyle, that's me. Talk to me about this. Or they'll give you referrals. Okay. So I'm going to pause right there, guys. We're about the midway point. We got a few other slides left I'm going to cover, but are there any questions or comments so far? Awesome. Heck yeah.
I just like the who has good hustle and good work ethic. I mean, this is a hustle daily. So that's just a good reminder.
For sure.
I like the soft approach for friends and family because sometimes it's intimidating to because friends and family, it's hard for them to say no thanks sometimes. So I just like the really chill way to go about that.
Yes, ma'am. All right, cool. So guys, we're going to talk really quick about social media recruiting. This is something that now is the perfect time. We just got back from Puerto Rico. If you're in Puerto Rico, you should definitely post a couple of pictures and have a social recruiting media post, because this is the time of year that people are looking at their life and they're thinking, are they in a better financial situation? Are they better with their freedom and flexibility now than they were this time last year? If they feel like they've downgraded their lifestyle, then they're going to be looking at other opportunities. So this is the perfect time of year to have a Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Snapchat recruiting post, whatever social media you have. I'm not a big fan of social media, but I feel like for recruiting purposes, it's key. We have found some of our key players through social media. Okay. So the biggest thing is just don't post anything negative on social media. Don't post a lot about politics, because that will definitely rub some people the wrong way. So make sure, and then make sure whenever you have a post on social media, you can put a picture, of Schneider Agency's Day. You're going to have a little paragraph, below, say that we're hiring people who like to hustle, sharp people. We're growing. We grew 72% this year in sales. It's awesome. Say whatever you want to say. We're hiring in this area. Let me know if you want to get more information, right? And the goal is to get 10 comments in the first hour. So make sure that you tell us, like, if you ever have a Facebook recruiting post, put it on Voxer so we can comment on it. Because when you get 10 comments in the first hour, it goes viral. And then it reaches a lot more people on your social media feed. So make sure if you ever do have a social media post, just post it on Voxer, and then we'll make sure we have at least 10 people comment on it within 60 minutes of it originating. And you're going to get a lot more people liking it, a lot more people reading it, and you'll get a lot more traction. Okay. Make sure though at the very end of the post, you have an action item. Message me if you want to hear more. Message me directly if you want to get more information. Okay. And whenever you actually get somebody to message you, like whatever, they send you a personal message, get their contact info. You can talk to them yourself, but they start asking very detailed questions. Hey, is this commission? Do you guys do all cold calling? But yeah, these are great questions for my leader, Maria Klusenek. These are great questions for my leader, Brian Glazinski, and then edify us. And we're going to talk about edification here pretty soon. So, and guys, just remember, we're not going to talk much about this page, but everywhere you go approach, some of the sharpest people you meet are people at grocery stores. If you go to the gym, okay, promise you, there's a lot of sharp people at the gym that if you just approach them, they'll be open to doing what you do. Okay. I know I heard some cool stories in Puerto Rico about some of the people there were approached from the sports leagues, sports leagues, or just random places. One of the guys there was found, he was Dylan Buck recruited him from a dealership. He was just doing enrollment there. And he was like, hey, man, do you see yourself working here forever or just more of a temporary job? And the guy was in Puerto Rico. He just started here about 5 months ago. So some great stories I was able to hear. So here's edification. So whenever you get somebody on the phone or you're talking to them online, wherever it may be, through Facebook, through Instagram, or, face to face, and they start asking a lot of detailed questions, this is a great time to pass the baton to your agency owner, just like what Allison Buckle did to me yesterday. I was able to talk to Blenda. Blenda was the rookie of the year at the prior company that Allison worked for before she came here. And I had a good conversation with Blenda yesterday. She now lives in Houston, Texas. But yeah, we were able to talk for a few minutes, but Blenda knew that I was kind of she knew I was higher on the career track. She didn't think I was just some mass recruiter type person, because Allison edified me to Blenda. And then she also edified Blenda to me as well. So she already told me some pre-approach about Blenda. So make sure that you edify your agency owner or your field or market director who you're passing the baton up to the food chain, because you want to make sure when they talk to them over the phone, they're excited. They know that their time is very, very valuable. So I used to edify Van Davenport. That's how I recruited Brian Glazinski. Hey, this is what I used to say about Van. Van is a straight stud. He's very successful. He's an awesome leader, fun to work with. Very busy guy, but I will make him set aside time for you, and he will run your personal interviews himself. He's very genuine, very humble, and you'll never know when you meet him, but he makes really good income. So he made over 250 grand his first year in the business, and he will be one of your leaders if you were to get hired here. So anyways, I'll give him your information and he will reach out to you and explain how the interview process works and guide you through it. So that's a very crucial part of the business, having some edification to your leadership team. Okay. And here is the last page. So one very important thing is a follow-up process and just having a system that you keep track of your field recruits. So what I started with many, many years ago, and I still use it today, is having a tracker system, just like an Excel sheet. All the people that you meet out there in the field, just having like a Google sheet where you just put like their name, phone number, their location, their email, where they work at, and like maybe some notes that you can have on them, whatever it is, just have a tracker system for yourself. That way you can keep track of all the field recruits. Because if you're getting 3 to 5 field recruits a week, and all you do is just shoot them one text and pass them off and they're not accounted for, you want to make sure that they don't fall through the cracks. So making sure that you have a tracker system yourself. I have my own tracker system for my recruits as well. I got several Google Sheets, but make sure you have your own personal tracking system so you can keep track of all their information. Yeah, some people that we recruit, they're not recruited the first time that you talk to them. It may take them 2 or 3 months. Recruiting is just like sales. Like there's people that bought cancer policies from me this year that didn't buy from me 5 years ago when I first sat down with them. Every year, I protect families that didn't buy from me the first time they saw me. Okay, you can go back and resurface business. Same thing with recruiting. There's people that the very first time you talk to them, even though they're sharp, it just may not be a good situation, for them right at that current time. They may be going through some personal stuff. You just never know. And then 6 months later, they're in a much different mindset. They're ready to grow. They're ready to build. Or their boss has just been super annoying to them and just micromanaging them. So they're ready to move on from that company and go to a different company. You just never know. So make sure that you always drip on your candidates, every 6 months or so, and just shoot them a text. Hey man, I know we talked, a few months back about the opportunity about working with us. Well, we're currently going through another expansion right now. And I remember you because you're really funny. Would you be open to getting more information on what we do? Okay, so constantly dripping on people. even and circling back around, just like you do with business to business. You know, just because a business doesn't let you in right now doesn't mean you're never going to go back there. Yeah, you're definitely going to go back there in 6 months to a year and try and re-engage with that head of HR or the manager to get access to their employees. So same thing with the recruiting. So just remember this, guys. The very last thing is this very last line here. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person or the wrong thing to the right person. So recruiting, the biggest thing is just being excited about what you're doing, you know, being very excited about what you're doing. And you can tell them your story, you know, tell them your story of where you came from before this, you know, like, hey, you know, I was right out of college, or, hey, I was a trucker before this. I was a truck driver, you know, for 10 years before this. Or I know CJ's story. He was a beer delivery guy for a few years, you know, and I'd never been in sales. And I was working 60 hours a week to make X amount of money. And here, my first year, I did very well. I was able to protect, you know, 300 plus families my very first year, and, you know, triple my income from my prior career. And I only worked about 40 to 45 hours a week doing it too. Worked less hours with a lot more freedom and flexibility. And now my wife, she's a stay-at-home mom. Whatever your story is, make sure you have that story. Like, we're currently hiring in this area. Would you be open to getting more information on what we do? So your passion is their passion. So you kind of sell yourself first, and then want to buy into into working with you. So if they see that you're excited about what you're doing, they're going to be excited too. So I'm going to pause there. That was it's already 8:33.